Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I think a lot of people struggle with, getting that real advanced English fluency, for listening and writing. But here's the twist: we're saying, ditch the textbook. Our goal really is to stop staring at grammar charts and actually start listening to how people talk in real life.
That's spot on. The idea is that if you want to sound clear, natural, really informed, you need to tune into the rhythm of actual conversations, especially when things get a bit tricky.
Yeah.
The sources we're digging into today, they're basically a collection of real stories, genuine conversational bits. And we're hunting for those little nuggets, the expressions, the word choices, the sentence structures that make English sound, well, authentic, not learned.
Exactly. And the core idea, the thing we really want you to take away, is just how powerful listening to context is. Hearing how people handle real situations, whether it's high pressure or just everyday stuff, that's the shortcut.
It absolutely is. It sharpens your listening, sure, but it also teaches you the tone, the right level of formality or informality. And crucially, that helps your writing sound less like a translation app wrote it. It's about function, how language works in the moment.
Yeah, function is key because textbook phrases, they often fall apart the second real life throws you a curveball.
Oh, totally. Let's jump right into one of those moments. High urgency, you get an unexpected request, you need to sound professional, but you just can't give the full answer right away.
Okay, yeah, we found a great example of this. Picture it. You're already running late for a big meeting, maybe 5 minutes late, stressed, trying to get the agenda up on your phone.
Yeah, classic scenario.
And then bam, an email from a colleague. Urgent request. Needs complex data analysis like right now. 5 minutes for a reply.
But you can't do the analysis in 5 minutes. Impossible. You still have to reply, though, and quickly.
So this is where the right language is about controlling the communication, isn't it?
Precisely. You need to signal professionalism, competence, even if you're internally scrambling. It's about promising a proper response later. And that brings us to our first key phrase, a real workhorse. I'll get back to you on that.
Simple but effective. I'll
Sure.
get back to you on that. Why is that so much better than just, I don't know, wait, or can't do it now?
Well, I'll get back to you. Feels like a commitment. It's kind of a social contract. It says, okay, I've registered this, it's important, and I will follow up properly.
No.
Wait can sound a bit dismissive. Can't do it now is blunt, but I'll get back to you. Shows respect for the request itself.
Right, it acknowledges the task without overpromising on the immediate timing.
Okay.
And the source material also had a slightly different version, maybe a bit more casual.
Yeah, for slightly less formal settings, or when you can do a very quick check. Let me quickly check and get back to you.
Ah, okay. So that little quickly check manages expectations differently. It implies maybe just a couple of minutes before you respond again.
Exactly. It suggests a brief lookup, not a deep dive. So these two phrases, they're invaluable. Office, personal life, doesn't matter. Hearing them used naturally really prepares you for that split-second decision when you're under pressure.
Okay, good stuff. Let's switch gears a bit. From that kind of workplace pressure to more everyday situations. Functional English, the language you need for politely sorting out problems or just asking for things. This is the stuff textbooks often just skip.
Oh, completely.
Oh.
And we have a perfect example, super mundane, but really illustrates the point. A trip to the grocery store. The speaker looks at their receipt and spots a mistake. An item's price is higher than what was on the shelf.
Right, happens all the time.
Yeah.
And dealing with the cashier, it can feel a bit awkward, maybe even confrontational if you're not careful.
But the language used here was really smart. It totally diffused any potential tension.
How so? What was the key?
The key was avoiding blame. The language pointed the issue towards the system, not the person. The phrase they used was something like, "Excuse me, I think there's been a mistake with this item." Gentle start.
Okay, I think there's been a mistake.
And then the crucial bit. Can you double-check the price for me?
Ah, can you double check? Not, you charged me wrong, or this price is incorrect.
Exactly. It's brilliant, really. In many English-speaking service contexts, the aim is non-confrontation. Asking them to double-check frames it as a procedural thing, not their personal error. It makes it much easier for them to help you without getting defensive. It's a staple phrase, really demonstrates functional, polite problem-solving.
That phrasing, can you double check the price for me?
Right.
That's gold. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting for learners, I think. How do we take that kind of natural spoken clarity and apply it to writing? Because so many people write emails that sound well, stiff.
Oh, definitely. Like they're translating word for word from their first language, or they're just sticking too rigidly to some formal template they learned.
Yeah, overly formal, kind of robotic.
And that stiffness often comes from not internalizing the flow of natural conversation. If you get how that grocery store inquiry sounds and feels, you can actually transpose that basic structure into writing, like an email.
Okay, show us how. Let's imagine someone just learned formal rules. They might write something awful, like,
Esteemed establishment, I must register a formal complaint regarding a pricing discrepancy on my recent purchase transaction. I require immediate rectification.
oh God, yeah. Grammatically okay, maybe, but sounds terrible. Aggressive, unnatural.
Totally. Now, compare that to an email based on the conversational approach we just talked about. The source material had this example. Dear store name, I recently made a purchase at your store, and I noticed that the price of one of the items I bought was higher than expected.
Simple, clear opening.
Yep. And then the request, could you kindly verify the price for me?
Ah, so can you double check in speech becomes, could you kindly verify in writing?
Exactly. You keep the core elements polite, clear, direct, but you just adjust the formality slightly. Kindly verify is a touch more formal than double check, perfect for a written note. The underlying flow is the same. So practicing conversation directly helps your writing sound authentic, not like something from 100 years ago.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so we're building skills here. Let's move into some more advanced territory now. Thinking about adapting your language register, switching, depending on who you're talking to, and also how to show emotion, like stress, without, melting down.
Yes, register switching is absolutely fundamental to sounding natural. You just don't talk the same way to your best friend as you do to a potential boss, right?
Right.
Let's use an example. Say you want to recommend a fantastic new restaurant. You're talking to a close friend.
Mm.
Informal register. You'd probably say something like, oh man, you got to check this place out. The food is amazing and the atmosphere is just so relaxed.
Yeah, gotta check out. Amazing. So relaxed, very casual, lots of energy.
Now, same restaurant, but you're talking to a potential business partner. Formal register needed. The language shifts instantly. Maybe something like, I'd highly recommend this restaurant to you. The food is exceptional, and the ambiance creates a very inviting atmosphere.
Wow, okay. Highly recommend. Exceptional ambiance, inviting atmosphere, same core message, totally different vocabulary and tone.
And that flexibility is what makes you sound credible and adaptable in different situations. Emails, meetings, calls, everything.
Okay, so that's register. What about expressing emotion, particularly negative emotion like stress or panic? There was that anecdote about the missing presentation file, right? Minutes before the big talk, the file's just gone from the laptop. Pure panic moment.
Oh, yeah. Nightmare scenario. But the key here was how the person communicated that crisis productively. They needed help, fast. The phrases they used were really a masterclass in controlled urgency. First, acknowledging the feeling, I'm in a bit of a panic right now.
A bit of a panic. Interesting qualifier.
Exactly. It signals seriousness without sounding completely out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And then, immediately followed by the action needed. Can you help me figure this out quickly?
But hold on, wouldn't admitting you're panicking, even a bit, undermine your professionalism? Isn't the goal to always seem calm?
That's a really good question.
Mm.
But context is everything. In a lot of English-speaking contexts, admitting a controlled level of stress, that bit of a panic combined immediately with a clear, action-oriented request, can you help me, is actually very efficient. It tells the other person, okay, this is serious, we need to act fast, without them having to guess or you having to waste time explaining the whole emotional spiral. It's productive stress communication.
Okay, I see. It's signaling urgency for a practical purpose, not just venting. That's a subtle but really important distinction, crucial for international workplaces.
Absolutely. It shows that advanced fluency isn't just about knowing words, it's about managing tone, managing crises through language.
Right. Okay, let's wrap things up by looking at some common social interactions. How people handle things like disagreement or misunderstanding smoothly.
Yeah, these nuances are key. Let's take expressing a different opinion, maybe disagreeing with a friend about a movie they loved. The sources showed a really common, respectful structure. You don't just jump in with, you're wrong.
No, hopefully not.
Right. You start by validating their view first. Something like, yeah, I totally get why you feel that way. Or, I can see why you liked it. That builds a bridge.
Okay, acknowledge first, then what?
Then you gently introduce your own perspective, often using a softener. But personally, I think, or for me though. And then you give your reason. Maybe the pacing felt a bit slow or whatever your point is. This whole structure lets you disagree without making the other person feel attacked. It's social fluency.
Acknowledging, softening, then stating your view with reason. Got it. Okay, what about misunderstandings? They happen all the time, especially in meetings.
Oh, definitely. There's that example where the speaker was asked for their take on something, meaning their opinion,
Right, their perspective.
but they misunderstood it as explain the steps involved. So they started explaining the process and then realized halfway through, awkward.
Yeah, how do you recover from that
You
gracefully?
need a quick, clear correction phrase, something that accepts the minor mix-up without making a huge deal of it. The source suggested, oh, I see what you mean now. You're asking for my opinion on it.
Oh, I see what you mean now. Simple, polite, takes responsibility, and clarifies the direction. Nice. Clean conversational repair.
Exactly. And one last simple point on clarity giving directions.
Yeah.
People often overcomplicate this.
Yeah. What's the key?
Keep it simple. Use obvious landmarks, like the example. Just keep walking straight until you see the big fountain. The library is right behind it. You can't miss it.
No complex turns, no jargon, just clear, functional steps. Makes sense.
Straightforward language wins every time for stuff like that.
Okay, so wrapping all this up then, what this deep dive really shows is that listening to these real life stories, these actual conversations, it gives you the tools you really need. Tools for handling urgent moments, for writing emails that actually sound human, for managing stress without falling apart, and for navigating those tricky social bits like opinions and misunderstandings.
Yeah, it moves you from just knowing about English to actually using it effectively and authentically. When you internalize the flow, the tone, the structure of how people really talk, your own language skills just transform. It's not just about words anymore. It's about the nuances, the context, the feeling.
So here's a final thought for you to take away, something to chew on. We've seen how listening gives you the structure for professional talk, the right tone for different people. How could using that skill specifically, that ability to switch registers, formal to informal and back again, how could that change how you write your resume maybe, or how you prep for a networking chat tomorrow?
That's a powerful question. Because understanding who you're talking to and adjusting naturally, that really is the fast track to mastering communication. Keep listening, keep noticing.
Great advice. Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you next time.